people reaffirming the belief that America is the leader of the free world. But Joe Biden has not been leading in the way the American people want him to lead. Frankly, he hasn't explained what our national interest is in Ukraine. He gives these gauzy speeches about democracy. But look, our interest there is to give the Ukrainian military the means to repel Russian aggression.
Well, guys, I have some disturbing footage to share with you. And apparently they want to reduce our population. We're going to get into that. Now, the White House has always looked at different opportunities to push for renewable energy, right? No one's going to argue with me on that one. However, instead of enticing entrepreneurs and investors to look at the bright side of solar, wind, or other renewable energy and getting more cash flow into this new market, they're telling us that, we should reduce our population. And I'm not kidding, guys. Vice President Kamala Harris went out to say that we are invested in reducing our population. I can't make this stuff up, folks. Now, you're not going to believe this footage that we have, but before we even get there, I think that we may have finally understood why there are things that government officials don't tell us. This is the puzzle that has been haunting us for decades, and now I understand how part of our government works. Now, picture this, guys, right? How long has it been since the January 6th Capitol riot? I mean, it's been a while, right? But how come we haven't been provided solid information as to how it all came about? Now, the answer is because there's an investigation and it's going on right now. You get it? And the same goes for all other investigations that we haven't seen progress. I mean, you got the Hunter Biden laptop situation. Why hasn't the White House made a single whisper about it, right? And again, there's an ongoing investigation about that they can't interfere with. It's genius. So, you can't talk about things while there's an investigation going. It almost plays right into the fact that they don't want to talk about it. So let's just leave this investigation going forever. That way we never have to talk about it, right? Maybe that's the strategy. I mean, look at what happened when FBI Director Christopher Wray was shown shocking footage of January 6th.
Can you tell us how the second pipe bomb was found at the DNC?
Again, I'm not going to get into that here.
900 days ago is when this happened, and you said you had total confidence we'd apprehend the subject. We've found video that looks like a passerby, miraculously found this pipe bomb at the DNC and then notified the police. Miraculously, I say, because it was specifically the precise time to cause the maximum distraction from the events going on at the Capitol. Can you show this video that we have, please? I'd like to know if the director has seen this. This is somebody with a mask on, wearing a hat. They're walking in front of the DNC, which is out of the view on the right-hand side. You'll see him come into view. He goes to one police car, he goes to another police car, he's holding a backpack, he's got a mask on, he's talking to the police, and within a minute, they start scrambling. You'll see the camera turn to the pipe bomb, the location of the pipe bomb. By the way, I believe the Metro police are now getting out of their car, and that's Vice President-elect's detail in the black SUV, I believe, parked about 30 feet from the pipe bomb, eating lunch. Okay, now we go over to the location of the pipe bomb. The cameras are scrambling. It appears to me that that's not a coincidence, that the person with the backpack who walked by that bench and then went up to the police and the detail didn't do that accidentally. They had a purpose in mind, and that what transpired after that was the result of information that person gave to them. If that person found the pipe bomb, would they be a suspect?
Well, again, I don't want to speculate about specific individuals. I will tell you that we have done thousands of interviews, reviewed something like 40,000 video files, of which this is one, assessed 500 something tips.
Have you interviewed that person?
Devices. We have conducted all logical investigative steps and interviewed all logical individuals at this point.
Then it's 900 days. You need to tell us what you found, because we're finding stuff you haven't released into the public.
Wow. So I guess the FBI can just not answer questions whenever they don't feel like it, huh? But what are your thoughts on this? And should the FBI be transparent about this investigation as what they said in the video? It's been more than 900 days and we have seen nothing. Is this a worrying sign that we're constantly being held in the dark? Now, speaking of worries, it seems as if many Democrats are worried about their chances for 2024. And while they're worried about holding the White House, President Biden, he's again going viral for all the wrong reasons. Check this out.
Tape of the president nibbling at the shoulder of a frightened little girl. Look at that. Has everyone on media cringing. But it comes amid a new report on how the president's antics have got Democrats worried.
Yeah, I'm guessing that they're very worried, not just because of the different things that have been shown on media regarding the president, but because some donors to the party, they seem to want a change of pace. I mean, President Biden has made multiple stumbles in public, not just with his statements, but actually physically stumbling and falling. What do you guys think will be the next move for them if they're not going to try to have the president reelected? Is it time for Vice President Kamala Harris to step up to the plate and become President Kamala Harris? Y'all want that? Now that part might be easier said than done, as she's dealing with her own public gaffes. So here's what happened as the VP was talking about climate change response investments in Baltimore, and I need you guys to listen very carefully about what they've invested in.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
They applauded for that. So are they admitting to us that they invested in reducing our country's population? Did no one tell her that she shouldn't say that quiet part out loud? But hold on, before you spam the comments on this one, the White House has already corrected the transcript and has said the VP meant to say pollution instead of population. Look at this. They even included the applause. That's a nice touch. Well, if both the president and vice president continue to toss up word salads and come up on the news for their questionable actions, then I'm not sure as to who can lead the Democrats for 2024. Do you guys have any idea? Now, on the topic of 2024, former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, he got a little bit heated with the GOP presidential candidate Mike Pence as he questioned why the former VP was much more invested in sending taxpayer money and weapons to another country. Meanwhile, we here at home are suffering with violence, crime, and the economy. Pence's answer was short and simple. He just said that, all of this was not his concern. Wait, what? So you're running to be the president of the United States, and you were just asked as to why you care more about another country compared to your own, and you say that it's not your concern? Does that even make sense?
Well, Bill, I did go into Kiev at the invitation of President Zelensky. I met with his military team. I also met with relief workers working with Samaritan's Purse. And then all last week, Karen and I were in Iowa, traveling around to gatherings large and small, celebrating Independence Day. But everywhere I heard people reaffirming the belief that America is the leader of the free world. But Joe Biden has not been leading in the way the American people want him to lead. Frankly, he hasn't explained what our national interest is in Ukraine. He gives these gauzy speeches about democracy. But look, our interest there is to give the Ukrainian military the means to repel Russian aggression. This is a straight-up Russian invasion. This is not a territorial dispute. Vladimir Putin is not a genius. The American people know it's in our interest to give the Ukrainians what they need to stop them there. But Joe Biden's been slow on it. I mean, he just approved cluster munitions, which the Russians have been using for a year and a half against Ukrainian forces. But what I heard from President Zelensky is they're still waiting on the 33 Abrams tanks that were promised back in January, and they're still waiting for U.S. approval to transfer F-16s from one of our NATO allies. Bill, it's just Joe Biden, I think, has done a terrible job explaining our national interest. He's been slow in providing the support. I welcome the cluster munitions, but I saw and heard, and I visited the old front lines in a place called Moshe and Bucha, just north of Kiev. These Ukrainians have demonstrated their toughness. They can fight and win and repel the Russian invasion, but we got to do a better job getting them what they need.
Do you guys have any thoughts on that? And since we've already talked about him, Tucker Carlson and former White House advisor Neil Patel, they're now looking to start a new media company that could potentially be anchored to Twitter. So Carlson has had a lot of success with the social platform, netting millions of views per episode that he's released. And while most of the content that he posts on there is free, the longer versions under this company may be driven by subscriptions, meaning that you would have to pay to watch the entire thing.
The company will also add additional shows and hosts, the sources said. Carlson and Patel met when they were roommates at Trinity College in Connecticut, and in 2010, the two founded the Daily Caller, of which Patel is still head. The two are reportedly looking to raise hundreds of millions of dollars to fund their new company, which currently is unnamed.
But what do you guys think about this? Are you going to be subscribing to this show if he ever puts a fee on it? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Now, before I go, guys, I just want to thank you guys so much for the support. Also, if you made it this far in the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and drop a quick like for the video. That goes a long way, and I really appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next video.